Okay, so this is gonna be more of a serious-esque video, mostly because it's kind of on a sad and personal topic on my point, and that's because recently my dog passed away. And some people who don't have dogs, or some people just in general, might be like, "Oh, like yeah, that's sad, but like, why make a big deal?" I don't know. It's just I kind of own it right now. I realize, like, in retrospect, me looking at it, it's like maybe it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like, after all, it was like a dog and not like an actual person. But like, I don't really judge people on that, because at the end of the day, it's how much something or someone or a creature, whatever, meant to you that really hits hard and hurts. And that's one of the reasons I'm talking about it, because my parents said, like, oh, you should talk to people about it, so you don't get like super upset and stuff like that. So what better place or person to talk about than myself, and then post it on the internet. Yeah. Anyway, so like I was saying, my dog recently passed away. He had like cancer in one of his bones, and he was just like in a lot of pain, so unfortunately we had to put him down. We've had him for like, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, something like that. He's been with me for a really long time, and I cared about him a lot, and it was pretty sad when he died. But I don't want this video to just be like fully sad, me just like talking about all the bad things and stuff. I kind of want to make this video more lighthearted, because at the end of the day, he did a lot for me. It's kind of funny because I kind of had a routine with him where really I'm trying to have a moment, bro, where my family, right, we like took turns walking him, and we walked him at different times of the day and stuff, because we wanted to make sure he was healthy and he was staying well and fit. So I would always walk him at night. That was like my walking shift, and that was mostly because I liked walking him at night. I think it was cooler and it was calmer, and we had a lot of crazy adventures together. Like, it was some pretty good times. And I remember there was a point, which is kind of ironic, that I've been thinking about a lot, where I didn't always feel like walking him, and I was just kind of like, oh, that's such a chore, that's so boring, I don't want to walk him, because like I got so many other things I could be doing. And then one day I kind of realized that this walk isn't just like my thing, it's for him. He can't go out and he can't walk himself. And the other thing, which kind of hits harder on the situation, is just the fact that there's going to be a day where he's not going to be here anymore, and I can't walk him anymore. And that was like a big thing. That's when it really clicked. And I really came to that conclusion simply because I used to have another dog, and she unfortunately passed away. It was like the same means, but like different reasons. But I was a lot younger then, and I didn't fully understand or comprehend or whatever. It's not on the same degree as this one. And it's been a while, so it definitely doesn't hit as hard as this one. But as soon as I kind of realized that, I started treating every walk like, I started, how can I say this? I started not minding walking him as much anymore. I took it as my responsibility to walk him as much as I could, and whenever chance I got. Well, okay, maybe I wouldn't say whenever chance I got, but like I try to at least walk him once a day. That was just our thing. And my where I live, there's a lot of like creatures. We ran into a mountain lion once. We always were running into coyotes. I literally, on our last walk, we ran into a skunk, which I just think is hilarious. Like, obviously we have like a walking, like, I won't say trail, but like we have a set place where we walk every time in my neighborhood. And unfortunately, because of the skunk, the walk kind of got cut short. But I'm not looking at that like because we got to like the place where we usually walk around, and I let him like walk around on the grass and stuff. We got there, and instead of like me looking at that and just thinking, oh man, I wish that wasn't the last walk, I think it really encompassed our relationship with walking. I mean, like I said earlier, whenever I walked him, it was always an adventure. Okay, we were always run to something and get into shenanigans and stuff like that. So I think it was a good way to end it off. I think if I were to reflect, my favorite walk I probably had ever gone with him was, I live in California, by the way, and the walk it was just supposed to be a normal ordinary day, and then all of a sudden it just started snowing outside, and I wasn't in school. It wasn't a school day, it was just some regular ordinary day, just out of the blue, and it was snowing. And I thought it was crazy. My parents, like, because I was like, man, it's not gonna snow all day, I'm gonna walk them, and they're like, oh, that might suck, you might not want to. And I was kind of just like, nah, I think he'll be really cool. So when everyone was like out of the house, I like grabbed him, put him on his leash, and we walked around in the snow. We even like stole this little girl's snowman. There was like this little girl who I was walking past. She's like, "Oh, big dog," because my dog Jack, he was pretty big. And she was like, "Look, I built a snowman over there." I was like, "Oh, really? That's really cool." Yeah, the little girl asked us to look at her snowman when she was walking away over at like the pool area where we were going to. It was like this little like there was a pool in the middle, and it was a community pool, and there was like a bunch of grass around it. And we're like, "Okay." And we looked at it and we kind of just claimed it. We took like a picture next to it. It was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. This video is such a downer though. I mean, listen, me and Jack, he was my best friend. No questions asked. We were as thick as thieves. We're always having a good time. And it's really sad that I had to see him go and say goodbye. It was really sudden. I mean, like about a week prior, we noticed he started like limping, and whenever I would walk him, sometimes he'd like fall on his leg when like he's trying to sniff like up a hill, and I'm like, "No, dude, you can't go up that hill." So like we knew something was up, but we thought it was just gonna be like some surgery or something like that. And then my parents took him to the vet when I was at work, and on my way home, I literally was told the news that we've gotten to the point where we're gonna have to like put him down relatively soon, and that really sucked. Like as soon as like my parents told me, I kind of knew before they said it, and I was kind of like, "Oh my gosh." So that was rough. But I thought we still had a few days, but just that night I'm working on like a college assignment, and I'm just in my room, and after I said like spend some time with him because I knew like like those days were going away. Just my dad kind of came in my room. He's like, "Hey, we've been down here with him. He's in a lot of pain right now. He's crying. It's time." And yeah, so that was a little sad. And it was like 11 o'clock at night. So my whole family gets in a car and we grab him, and we say goodbye. With my previous dog, I didn't actually like go in to see it done. Like my parents like, "Yeah, you guys don't need to see that. Like you don't need to come along." But this time around, it's just it was different. Okay, I don't know if I have an exact reasoning to why I decided to tag along. I thought that we've been together since the beginning. I thought I was gonna be there for him at the end. Plus, I had a few things I wanted to say to him before he went, and I didn't really get a chance for whatever reason. I was self-conscious, or I just didn't want anyone else to hear it. So I thought it would be a good chance to like get my final goodbyes in. Yep. So we eventually take him in, and it's just my mom, my dad, and I, and we're just chilling there. And my parent, like, they bring Jack in, and they're just like, "Yeah, just." They're really sweet about it. They're really good about it. And they're like, "Just take all the time you need. In like 10 minutes, we'll come by, see if you guys are ready. And if you are, then we can get this over with." Well, they didn't say it, "Get this over with." Sorry, that was a very poor choice of words. They didn't say that. That was me. And I don't mean like that way. So yeah. And then my parents are really cool, and they kind of looked at me like, "Hey, do you want to like have some time alone with him? Can say a few things." I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And that's what I did. I don't think I'll say exactly what I told them, 'cause, that's personal and stuff like that. But I will say one thing, which is a little corny, but that's just what I do. It was the last thing I ended up saying to him. I heard an interpretation of a saying once, and that saying was "stay cool." See, with this saying, I always thought the term "stay cool" was another way of saying stay calm, in whatever circumstance it might be. But then I heard another interpretation of the word that wasn't that. Like, while it means that, but it was also a way of saying goodbye to someone, or more accurately, something. But it wasn't just like a one-off goodbye where you'll probably end up seeing them the next day. It was more reserved. It was more reserved for when you're really saying goodbye to someone. And the place I stumbled upon this saying, it was from my favorite TV show, maybe one of my favorite pieces of media. I won't say what it is, but if you know, you know. And I thought it was really special to me. That's like the third time that's happened in this video. The order I'm saying stuff in this video is crazy, but for those of you guys who don't know, like towards the end of the video, Jack is my dog, and he is a white lab. He was the type of guy who was always down to eat food. I'm pretty sure we even gave him medicine that he needed that made him like always hungry. So he was always just like scarfing down food whenever we gave it to him. He'd always like wait by the table. I remember when we first got him, when I was a little less disciplined, he would always wait by my chair at the dinner table. So whenever I dropped like crumbs or something, he could eat it. He was also always ready for a walk. I mean, like I said, I walk him at night. So sometimes I'd end up walking him at like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And sometimes my parents would get upset. Sometimes they'd be like, yep, you got to walk him, or make sure it's not too long. We don't want you getting like jumped in the middle of the street. And it was always down for it because that's what he liked. He liked walks like most dogs. But one thing about him is he did not like other dogs. Like he loved people and humans, but other dogs he just did not like them. I never really figured out why. Maybe it was because he was scared of them. Maybe because, you know, he had some bad experiences with them in the past. Maybe it's just because he was just like trying to protect us. I don't know the real reason why. And I don't know. I know I never will, which is kind of sad to think about. But you know, it is what it is. When it came to, you know, the whole process, like I said, the people were really sweet when we were putting them down. I don't want to get too detailed because I don't know who could be watching this, and I don't want to like upset anybody. Plus, it's like personal. And the only reason I'm really talking about this was because I want to be able in the future to look back on this video and just remember, you know, just remember Jack for who he was if I ever forgot. Plus, I also think it's good to talk about this kind of stuff, you know, in just some semblance of a way. You know, sometimes when I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, like I said earlier, or referred to at least, the process of putting him down, sometimes I think that maybe it would have been better if I never went and saw it, because it was a little rough, if anyone knows. But at the moment, now that I'm recalling it, I said earlier that I didn't really know why I did it. And the things I said were true about how I was with him at the beginning and I want to be there with him at the end. But I think another part came into the fact that I'm 18 now and everyone deals with trauma and heartache and all that stuff differently. But I kind of just took it from the stance that my parents were going to be there and my parents had to go through we are going to have to go through this. And personally, if they have to, I felt like I should also be there. Of course, you don't need to go, like, at all. Like, maybe, like I said, it was kind of stupid for me to do it, even though when they gave me a free out. But I just wanted to, you know? And that was my choice to make. But honestly, like I said, sometimes I feel like I probably shouldn't have, because when you don't see it, I know because I've done both. I've not seen it once and I have seen it other times in like another with my last dog. Her name was Honey. But like when you've never done it and you're not educated in it, you don't really know what to expect. You don't get like the mental image or any of that. You kind of could just like pass it off as just like, oh, you know, like my dog died and that really sucks. But when you're there and you see the process, and like I said, I'm not going to get too graphic into it because my family might be watching this, or just maybe I don't want to bum future me out too much. But it's a lot different, honestly. But, you know, moral of the story, Jack was my best friend and I couldn't ask for a better dog or pet or whatever you call it. Man, we've been through a lot together over the years of my life, and I knew that inevitably one day this day would come. Do I think it's too soon? Of course I do. But at the end of the day, life happens, life keeps moving on. Unfortunately, the way it works is humans outlive dogs most of the time. But I'm glad we could be there for him, and we gave him some amazing years of his life, hopefully. And I'm really gonna miss him. That's just like the moral of the story. Love you, Jack. Stay cool.